Hello, welcome to episode 17. I would just like to start today by welcoming a lot of new listeners. I'll go into a bit more detail on that later in the show, but each and every one of you, nice to speak to you again this week, my friends. Very much pleased to be here talking to you. Um, on the show today, there's a few bits and pieces for me to go over. Um, I've had some good news. For me personally, it's good news from my MS team. The MS coordinator called me in the week. So I'll explain that in a bit more detail. I've also been invited onto a medical study. Yeah, me, a medical study. Okay. I'll explain. I've also, during the course of the week, I've had the occupational health get in touch with me. That's through work. So yeah, it's something to look forward to. Also, I'm going to explain the issues that I had predominantly Friday night, but they're still sort of going on a little bit now. But again, we'll get to that, and I'll explain exactly what the story is. We'll start today with me saying the phone call I had from the MS coordinator the other day put a massive smile on my face. As I've mentioned previously on previous shows, I've been waiting for a lumbar puncture, which the MSMDT team wanted to do just to confirm exactly what the story is and what level my MS is at. Say the MS has been diagnosed now for a good few months, but the one thing they hadn't done was the lumbar puncture. It'd been diagnosed off the back of MRI scans and my physical presentations of how things are going. So as I say, the MSMDT team wanted to have the lumbar puncture done before I went on to any kind of treatment, just to confirm it. The date for that is the 20th of December. To say I'm a bit nervous is a huge understatement, because I am absolutely pooping myself over it. But actually, in the grand scheme, I am really excited. And I know that probably sounds quite daft, but actually, I'm excited for one reason and one reason only. Let them cross their T's and dot their I's. Let's get me on some treatment. And I know it's the treatment they're looking at. It's never going to cure what I've got. I mean, that's cold hard fact. I've come to terms with that. I've got no issue with that. But hopefully it can slow the decline a bit, because the decline is actually coming quite thick and fast recently. And I've mentioned that on previous shows. But I really would like to arrest the slide a little bit. Try and get a bit of time. Even if I'm just staying as I am, it's not nice, it's not comfortable, but I'd rather that than keep sliding down this slippery slope that I seem to be going on. So yeah, hopefully we'll get that lumbar puncture done on the 20th. They see what they want to see, and fingers crossed, I can really start pushing towards some form of treatment. I know I still got to have a chest x-ray and bloods taken before I can go on any kind of treatment. That's fine. One job at a time is get the lumbar puncture done, and then let's get them done nice and quick so I can try and push towards this treatment, because genuinely it's becoming very difficult. But it is what it is. I don't intend to dwell on the negative. I am a very positive person, and yeah, okay, I have days where I'm really struggling, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, the gloves are on and I'm fighting. Simple as that. I'm fighting, because I've said it previously and I'm going to say it again. I've got MS. MS does not have me. I've got a life to lead, I've got a family to be with, and that's what I'm going to do. Going on to point 2 for today's show, I had a phone call from my MS coordinator. It was actually during the phone call for the lumbar puncture, and I've been asked if I wouldn't mind joining a medical study through a university into how MS affects the memory. Because I must admit, I'm having some quite bad issues memory-wise at the moment. I mean, quite honestly, at times I can have a conversation 2 minutes later, I haven't got a clue what's been discussed. It's not all the time. It's only happening now and then, but it's not nice, and I'll be honest with you, it's getting me down. I want to be completely honest with you all. It's getting me down. The memory aspect of it is really starting to frustrate me. But it is what it is. I've just got to get used to it. But yeah, I'm invited onto this medical study, and in front of me I've got the email that they've sent me, and it states on there, I'm not going to explain what the university is, because to be honest with you, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about and what I'm not. Again, I'm still really new to all this stuff, so please bear with me. But it says here, many people with MS, 70%, have problems with thinking skills, such as problem solving, attention and memory. Yep, I'm definitely one of those people. These problems cause distress and disability. Distress, absolutely. There is need for treatments to address them. I totally agree with that. There's been a new brain training treatment developed to try and help people with MS. And basically the aim of this study is to try and assess whether actually it's going to benefit people like us with MS to go through this treatment, see if it's going to actually help us with our memories. As I say, from my point of view, whatever I can do to help others, I'm actually quite prepared to do. I've always been the kind of person that's sort of, do you know what, I'm not getting involved, blah, blah, blah. You know what, my thought process has changed drastically on all that sort of thing. Actually, I'm here to help. I'm doing this podcast purely and simply, two reasons. One, it helps me to get this stuff off my head, out of my brain and out into the world, because again, talking about things actually is the way forward. It's the only way to try and help yourself. I'm not going to use the word heal, because we're never going to heal, but to try and help yourself come to terms with things and just not have so much negativity in your own head, because again, there can be a lot of that, let's be honest. So yeah, I mean, I've taken on this study. I've got a phone call coming up with them in the week. It's a video call where we just sort of go over everything, and they confirm 100% that I'm right for the study. And fingers crossed I am, because again, I'm here to help, whatever it takes. So again, I'm really quite looking forward to that, because if that happens, yeah, I'm keen, I'm on board, let's do it. Give me a second, I'm just going to have a little sip of my cup of tea, because it is a bit chilly out here in what I'm now dubbing my studio. As I've explained previously, all it actually is our brick shed. But it works. I'm using it as my studio. In terms of the phone call I've had for occupational health from work, they've been in touch, and in the week we are going to have a proper phone call. I've got one of their medical assessors calling me up, and they want to have a conversation with me to try and figure out if there's anything they can do to help me while I'm at work predominantly. just to see if there's any adaptations or anything else that can be done. I have to be honest, I don't think there's going to be anything. I really, really don't. I go to work, and again, I'm not going to explain exactly what I do for a job, but I can spend time sat down. There's always emails and things to do, and again, I can just sit and help the best I can while I'm keeping myself safe and secure. So we'll see. I mean, it may well be these occupational health. They know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. So it might well be that actually they can think of things that I can't. Wouldn't be difficult. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Phone call's going to be very, very soon, and we'll go from there. Got to explain what happened Friday night, because that wasn't very nice. Got in bed. Now, again, coming back to the memory aspect of things, I could not remember for the life of me if I had taken my pain medication. And trouble is, I'm the type of person, if I'm in doubt, I'm not going to take it. It really is that simple. I'm not going to take any risks with it. I've never been one, apart from ibuprofen or paracetamol, I've never had to take any painkillers or anything like that previous. So I am a bit nervous, I'll be totally honest with you. But I'd forgotten to take them, didn't want to take the risk. And during the course of the evening, because I went to bed really, really early, I was up for work at 4:15 the following morning. So again, early night, try and get some sleep. But I started getting some really horrible pains. They were like electric shock type pains in my legs, my arms, and my back. I had these sort of, I don't know, it was like tickly type feelings on my head, which was very, very strange. It genuinely at times felt like somebody was just, I don't know, like rubbing cobwebs or something across my head. In my calf muscles, both legs, my calf muscles, these electric shock feelings was just horrible. I couldn't get comfortable, nothing. It was absolutely, yeah, I can't really explain it, to be honest with you, apart from the fact it hurt a lot, and I've got to be honest, it made me quite scared. I was afraid of what was going on. So, taking advice from Lisa, I rang 111 to try and get some medical advice, because again, not afraid to use the word, I was scared. It was really worrying me, because I've had those feelings previously, but actually not for quite a few years. And at that point, obviously, I didn't have a clue what was going on. I just sort of tried to fight through it. So yeah, I rang 111 to try and take some medical advice. Unfortunately, 111 was incredibly busy on Friday night. So after being on hold for quite a while, and my thought process of it's not long till I've got to be up for work. I mean, by the time I'd phoned 111, it was about 10 p.m. And I'm thinking, I've got to be up at 4:15. I can't let work down. So I did nothing more than hung up, because I couldn't keep staying on the phone in the hope of talking to someone, when it's the sort of thing, chances are I'm going to have to start getting used to. So I did no more. I kept myself laying down, and I really fought to try and get some sleep, because sleep's one thing on and off I struggle with. And having work, I've got to try and get some sleep. So I did, and thankfully, with Lisa's help, I did manage to get some sleep that night, which was nice. And I will say the electric shock type feelings are still there, certainly in my legs, calf muscles and thighs predominantly. but they're not as bad because obviously I'm back on my tablets now. So I'm hoping that might start easing off soon. Sorry, just having another swig of my tea. But yeah, I mean, it was not nice. Not nice. Coming away from the not nice, I have to say it. There was 2 days this week, Wednesday and Thursday, I had massive spikes in my downloads of this podcast. And I gotta be honest with you, I was buzzing, absolutely bouncing off the walls. I was so excited, so happy. The level of pride that it was giving me to know that actually people are downloading and listening to the sort of things I'm saying. Because what I want this show to do, I want people to see that, yeah, this is absolutely horrific. This condition is evil, but not just MS. I mean, at the end of the day, anything that you've got that's not good, I want people to see that talking about it, just talk about it. Don't be afraid to get what you're thinking out in the world. Because actually, when it's out there, hopefully it takes just that tiny little load off your own mind. And yeah, I got to say it, I literally in 2 days, I got 2 weeks worth of downloads. That's massive. And don't get me wrong, in the grand scheme, my numbers are tiny. They really are. They're very, very small. But you know what? The level of pride just seeing that was unbelievable. So I've got to say it to every single person out there that's downloading and listening to this podcast. I've said this a million times, but I really do mean it. Thank you. Each and every one of you, thank you. To my new friends that are downloading, welcome. It's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you, and I really hope I'm going to be talking to you for a long time going forward. And just remember that, you know what? I'm here. I'm quite a happy person. Yeah, I'm going through an absolutely rubbish time, like we all are. But I'm happy. I'll try and keep you entertained. And yeah, by all means, come over and join me on my social medias. I'm on Instagram and I am on TikTok. It's the same handle as I've got for the show. It's Mike's_MS_journey. Come over, come and say hello, drop me a message, because I do try the best I can to try and message people back and have conversations. There's one more thing I've really got to talk about. I've been mega excited since it happened. Coming home from work on Friday, sat on Eleanor, my mobility scooter, and coming across the road, I bumped into Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus. Absolutely brilliant it was. Chap and his wife dressed up as Santa and Mrs. Claus, pulling this tiny little sleigh full of presents for kids. And they were literally just walking the streets of my town and seeing kids and giving them just little presents. It was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, I have to say it. I did take a selfie with them, and that's on my Instagram. But yeah, no, honestly, it was fantastic. And I had a bit of a chat with them for a little while. And I said to them, actually, just how grateful I am. And they asked if I've got kids. And I explained, yes. And they actually gave me a teddy to bring home for the kids. That was lovely. And the teddy was gorgeous, honestly. It genuinely was. Absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I have to say, made my day. Really did made my day. So yeah, I just had to put that one out there so we can finish on a high. Thank you all once again. I'll never stop saying those words, because genuinely I am incredibly grateful to each and every one of you for downloading and listening. I'm very much looking forward to talking to you in a week's time. Have the best possible week you can. Speak soon. Bye-bye.